In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit this little cardigan sweater. This is the little Max cardigan. It's very easy to make. I hope you like it. It's for 3 to 6 months, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger from 0 to 3 months and up to 12 to 18 months. In the description box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right-hand side and in the description box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, in another tutorial, I'll go ahead and show you the matching baby pants, so stay tuned for that. To make the little cardigan sweater along with the matching little pants, this is the yarn that I used. This is DK weight yarn, but you can also use any number 3 yarn or 8 ply. For the 3 to 6 month size, you're going to need about 104 grams along with 5 buttons that are 13 millimeter size. You will need less or more depending on the size that you make. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. Thank you so much for watching. To begin, I'll be using these 3mm knitting needles, and I'm using circular needles, but I'm going to be using them as straight needles, so you can certainly use straight needles to make this little sweater. The yarn that I'm using is DK weight yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn you're going to need for the size that we're making. Now, to begin, we're going to cast on our stitches. I'm going to use the long tail cast on method, so I'm going to show you how to cast on your stitches. Now, using both needles here, we first have to measure the yarn. This is how I do it, so I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. So here, I'm going to wrap the yarn around both needles 20 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, I have enough yarn here for about 20 stitches. I'm going to double it up. I have enough for about 40. We're going to cast on a total of 69. I'm going to double it up again. I have enough for 60, and I'm going to double it up again. I have enough for about 80 stitches. I'm going to leave it like this. It's best to have some left over than to have to redo this again. So here, make a slip knot. Insert both needles through this slip knot. Now, this here is the yarn that we just measured, and this here is coming from the skein. Now, insert your index finger and open up the yarn, and we're going to go from left to right, and we're going to grab a loop like this. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Continue until you have a total of 69 stitches. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished casting on my stitches. I have 69 stitches. Now, this is all the yarn that I had left over. Here, you can just tie a knot here to the beginning so that this last stitch here doesn't open up too much. Now, carefully pull one of the needles here. I have my 69 stitches. We're going to start with the collar here. So for the collar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit 1 and purl 1. So beginning with this first stitch, I'm going to knit. Next stitch, I'm going to purl. Knit 1, purl 1. And this is how I'm going to make this first row. Knit 1, purl 1. Continue to the end of this row. I finished row 1. In this row, I knit 1 and purl 1. My last stitch here is a knit stitch. Now turn for row 2. Now for the second row, I'm going to slip this first stitch here, and then I'm going to knit the next stitch. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. Continue like this to the end of this second row. I'll meet you at the end. I finished the second row. Here at the end, my last stitch is a purl stitch. Now turn. For row 3, I'm going to slip the first stitch, and I'm going to purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. Continue to the end of this third row. I'm here at the end of the third row. I purled and I knit the last 2 stitches here. Now turn for row 4. Here I'm going to add my first buttonhole for this row, and I'm going to do it here on this side. So from now on, I'm going to place a stitch marker here to mark the front of the little sweater. So this is going to be the front side, and this is going to be the back side. So place a stitch marker, and we're going to need 2 stitch markers here to mark the button bands. So to begin here with the 4th row, I'm making this little sweater for boys, so I'm going to be making my buttonhole here on this side. If you're making it for girls, then you're going to do it at the end of this 4th row. If you don't know the sex of the baby, you can make it exactly how I'm making it right now. So now for row 4, I'm going to slip the first stitch, and I'm going to knit the next stitch. Now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to knit 2 together through the back like this. You can do it through the front. I like to do it through the back. It doesn't matter. Now you're going to knit 1. Here I have 5 stitches. This is going to represent the button band, so I'm going to place a stitch marker. Now I'm going to continue with the pattern, so I'm going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and I'm going to do this to the end of this row. I'm going to show you once I get to the end of this 4th row how you need to make your buttonholes if you're making this for girls. So I will meet you 5 stitches before I finish to show you that. I'm here at the end of the 4th row. I have the last 5 stitches. I'm going to place a stitch marker here to mark this button band. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm making this for boys, so I already did my buttonhole here at the beginning. So if you need to make the buttonhole for girls, this is what you would need to do. You would purl 1, knit 1, then you're going to yarn over, and then knit 2 together through the back, and then purl the last stitch. So since I already added my buttonhole here at the beginning, I don't need to do anything, so I'm just going to purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and purl the last stitch. Now turn for row 5. Row 5 is on the wrong side. Row 4 was on the right side. Here I'm going to slip the first stitch here, and then I'm going to knit 4. If you made a buttonhole here, then you would just knit through the back the yarn over. But I did it here at the beginning, so all I need to do here is just slip the first stitch and knit 4. Now pass the stitch marker, and here, since we're on the back side, I'm just going to purl 59. So we're just going to purl all of these stitches up to the last 5 stitches. So continue. I'll meet you at the end here to show you how we're going to finish this 5th row. I'm here at the end of this 5th row. This row is being worked from the wrong side. Now pass your stitch marker. I have the last 5 stitches. Here I'm going to knit 2. The yarn over, I'm also going to knit, but I'm going to knit this through the back loop and then knit the last 2 stitches. There, I have my first buttonhole. Now turn. In this next row, we're going to start our repeat. From here on, the 5 stitches on either side are going to be stitches for the button band, and we're always going to knit those stitches no matter what side we're on. I'm going to continue with the garter stitch just for these 5 stitches at the beginning and at the end. Now to begin here, I'm going to do the first row to the first repeat. Each repeat consists of 6 rows. So to begin here, I'm going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and now I'm going to begin. I'm going to knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, purl 1. Again, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, purl 1. These purl stitches are going to separate each one of these motifs, or the little yarn overs here, this group of 3 stitches. Again, you're going to knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, and then purl 1. So in these 4 stitches, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, purl 1. Continue like this. I will meet you 8 stitches before we finish to show you how we're going to finish this first row to the first repeat. I'm here at the end of this first row to the first repeat. I have 3 stitches before the stitch marker here, so I have a total of 8 stitches here. Now this stitch here is a purl stitch, so now with these last 3 stitches, this is what you're going to do. You're going to knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. Now pass the stitch marker and then knit 5. And this is how I finish this first row to the first repeat with a total of 99 stitches. Now turn for row 2. At the end of each row for this first repeat, we're always going to finish with 99 stitches. Remember that it consists of 6 rows. So this would be row 2 and it's being worked on the wrong side. So for row 2 here, I'm going to knit 5. Pass your stitch marker, and here I am going to purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now knit 1 and then again purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 1, purl 5. And this is how I'm going to continue to the end of this second row to the first repeat. Continue. I'll meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row to the first repeat. Now these last 5 stitches here, I purled, pass your stitch marker, and knit 5. Turn for row 3. Now for this third row, same thing here at the beginning, we always knit 5. Pass your stitch marker. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit 5. And purl 1. Knit 5. And purl 1. Continue like this to the end of this third row. Here at the end, these 5 stitches before the stitch marker, you're going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and then knit 5 here at the end. I'll meet you at the end of this third row to the first repeat. I'm here at the end of this third row. This row is being worked on the right side. Now these 5 stitches before the stitch marker, I knit 5. Now pass your stitch marker and knit 5 here at the end for the button band. And here's the third row to the first repeat. Now turn for row 4. Row 4 is going to be the same as row 2. So here to begin, knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and purl 5, knit 1. Again, purl 5, knit 1. Continue like this to the end of this 4th row. Here at the end, 5 stitches before the stitch marker, you're going to purl 5, pass the stitch marker, and knit 5. I'll meet you at the end of this 4th row. I'm here at the end of the 4th row to the first repeat. These 5 stitches here, I purled 5, pass the stitch marker, and knit 5. Now turn for row 5. We're going to do the same thing we did for row 3, which is knit 5 here at the beginning. Pass your stitch marker and knit 5. Purl 1. Again, knit 5. Purl 1. And this is how you're going to continue to the end of this 5th row. Here at the end, 5 stitches before the stitch marker, you're going to knit 5, pass the stitch marker, and knit 5 here at the end. I'm here at the end of the 5th row to the first repeat. Now here at the end, 5 stitches before the stitch marker, I knit 5, pass the stitch marker, and then knit 5 here for the button band. Now for row 6 of the first repeat, I'm going to knit 5. Row 6 is the same as row 4. So just knit 5 here, pass your stitch marker, purl 5, knit 1, purl 5, knit 1. Continue like this to the end of this 6th row. Here at the end, you're going to purl 5, pass the stitch marker, knit 5. I'll meet you at the end of this 6th row to the first repeat. I'm here at the end of the 6th row. This completes the first repeat. Remember, at the end of each one of these rows for the first repeat, we had 99 stitches. Now, for the second repeat, this is going to be the first row, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and here this first row to the second repeat is where we do the yarn overs. So instead of knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, we're going to knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, and then purl 1. Again, you can see the 5 stitches here, so you're going to knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, purl 1, and then again knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, and so on. I will meet you right here 5 stitches before the stitch marker to show you how we're going to finish this first row to the second repeat. I'm here at the end of this first row to the second repeat. Now here at the end, I have 5 stitches before the stitch marker. This stitch here is a purl stitch. So here for these 5 stitches, I'm going to knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2. Pass the stitch marker, knit 5. And here's the first row to the second repeat. I have a total of 129 stitches. For this second repeat, I'm always going to have 129 stitches at the end of each row. Now turn for row 2. This is the wrong side. Here we're going to knit 5, past the stitch marker. Now here I'm going to purl 7, knit 1, purl 7, knit 1, and then again purl 7. Continue and finish this second row. Here at the end you're going to finish with purl 7, pass the stitch marker, knit 5. I'll meet you at the end of this second row to the second repeat. I'm here at the end of this second row to the second repeat. I have 129 stitches. Here at the end, 7 stitches before I finished, I purled 7, past my stitch marker, knit 5. This row was worked from the wrong side. Now turn for row 3. Here to begin, I'm going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and we're going to knit 7. And purl 1. That's how you're going to continue. Knit 7, purl 1, knit 7, purl 1, up to the last stitch here. Continue. I will meet you at the end of this third row to the second repeat. I'm here at the end of the third row to the second repeat. Now here, 7 stitches before the stitch marker, I knit 7, past the stitch marker, then knit 5. Now turn for row 4. Row 4 is being worked on the wrong side, and here row 4 is the same as row 2. So I'm going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and purl 7, knit 1, and that's how you're going to continue. Purl 7, knit 1, purl 7, knit 1. Continue, finish this fourth row. I'll meet you at the end. I finished the fourth row. Now turn for row 5 of the second repeat. Row 5 is the same as row 3. So here we're going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, knit 7, purl 1. And that's how you're going to continue. Knit 7, purl 1, all the way to the end. I'll meet you at the end of this fifth row to the second repeat. I'm here at the end of the fifth row to the second repeat. Now turn for row 6. This row is the same thing as row 4. So knit 5, pass the stitch marker, and here you're going to purl 7. And knit 1. And that's how you're going to continue. Purl 7, knit 1, purl 7. I'll meet you at the end of this sixth row to the second repeat to show you what we need to do next. I finished the sixth row. This completes the second repeat. At the end of each one of these 6 rows for the second repeat, we had a total of 129 stitches. Now I'm going to make one more repeat. So to begin here, this is going to be row 1 of the third repeat. I'm going to knit 5, pass the stitch marker, and here I'm going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, and purl 1. Again, we have the next 7 stitches. I'm going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, and purl 1. And that's how you're going to continue for the rest of this first row to the third repeat. Here again, you're going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3, and then purl 1. Continue like this for this first row to the third repeat. I will meet you here at the end. I'm here at the end of this first row to the third repeat. I have 7 stitches before the stitch marker. This stitch here is a purl stitch, so now with these last 7 stitches, I'm going to knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3. Pass your stitch marker, knit 5. And here is the first row to the third repeat. There's a total of 159 stitches at the end of this row. From here on, for this third repeat, I'm always going to have 159 stitches. Now turn for the second row to the third repeat. Here I'm going to knit 5, pass the stitch marker, purl 9, knit 1, and then again you're going to purl 9, knit 1, purl 9. Continue to the end of this second row to the third repeat. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this second row to the third repeat. I have a total of 159 stitches. Now turn for row 3. I'm going to knit 5, pass the stitch marker, and here I'm going to knit 9, and purl 1. Then again I'm going to knit 9, purl 1, knit 9, all the way to the end. I'll meet you at the end of this third row to the third repeat. I'm here at the end of the third row to the third repeat. Now here at the end I have these last 9 stitches. This stitch here is a purled, so here to finish all I'm going to do is just knit 9 here at the end. Pass your stitch marker and knit 5. And here's the third row to the third repeat with a total of 159 stitches. Now for the fourth row to the third repeat, we're going to turn. Here we're going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and purl 9. Now knit 1, and this is how you're going to continue for this fourth row to the third repeat. Continue, I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 4 of the third repeat. Row 4 was worked on the wrong side. Now turn for row 5. Now in this fifth row of the third repeat, I'm going to make my second buttonhole. So from here on, we're going to be adding buttonholes every 18th row. So to do this here, I'm going to knit 2, then yarn over, and here I'm going to knit 2 together through the back or the front, it doesn't matter. I like to do it through the back. And now knit 1. Here's the second buttonhole. Now pass the stitch marker, and here I'm going to repeat the same thing I did in row 3, which is knit 9, purl 1, and then again knit 9, purl 1 all the way to the end of this 5th row. Now once you finish the 5th row, you're going to turn, knit 5, purl 9, knit 1, purl 9, knit 1. Continue and finish the 5th row and the 6th row. I will meet you at the end. One thing, if you're making this for girls, then you're going to do your buttonhole here at the end of this row. I'm making mine for boys, so that's why I'm making here the buttonholes at the beginning. If you don't know the sex of the baby, it's okay. Just go ahead and do it like I am doing here. I'll meet you at the end of the 6th row to the 3rd repeat. I finished row 5 and 6. In row 5, I added my 2nd buttonhole. So here I have completed the 3rd repeat, and I'm going to make one more. So to do the 4th repeat, this is going to be row 1 of the 4th repeat. Here we always do the same thing. We knit 5. Pass your stitch marker, and here we have the next 9 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I'm going to knit 4, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, and then knit 4. There. Now purl 1. Again, you're going to repeat the same thing for the next 9 stitches. You're going to knit 4, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, purl 1. And that's how you're going to continue to the end of this 1st row to the 4th repeat. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the 1st row to the 4th repeat. I have a total of 189 stitches. Now here at the end, these last 9 stitches, I did the same thing. I knit 4, then yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, and then pass my stitch marker and knit 5. Now I'm going to turn for row 2 for the 4th repeat here, and same thing. I'm going to knit 5, pass the stitch marker, and here I'm going to purl, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. We're going to purl 11, and knit 1. And that's how you're going to continue. Purl 11, knit 1, purl 11 to the end of the row. Here at the end, you're going to purl the last 11 stitches, pass the stitch marker, and then knit 5. I'll meet you at the end of this 2nd row for the 4th repeat. I'm here at the end of the 2nd row to the 4th repeat. I have a total of 189 stitches. Remember that at the end of each row for the 4th repeat, I'm always going to have 189 stitches. Now I'm going to start you off here on the 3rd row, and then you're going to continue and finish the rest of the repeat. So here for row 3, I'm just going to knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and here I'm going to now knit 11, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Now purl 1, and that's how you're going to continue for row 3 of the 4th repeat. Knit 11, purl 1 to the end here of the row. Now Once you finish the third row, you're going to turn for the fourth row, and you're going to knit 5, purl 11, knit 1. After you finish row 4, you're going to turn for row 5. Row 5 is the same thing as row 3. After you finish row 5, you're going to turn for row 6, and row 6 is the same as row 4. And that's how you're going to finish the fourth repeat. I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished the fourth repeat. This completes the yoke. At the end of the sixth row of the fourth repeat, I had a total of 189 stitches. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to work this front panel, and then we're going to work the first sleeve. This is why you can make this little sweater using straight needles. I'm using circular needles, but I'm using them as straight needles. After we finish and seam the first sleeve, we're going to continue along the back side, and then we're going to make the second sleeve. After we finish the second sleeve and seam the sleeve, I'm going to continue with the second front panel. So all of this is going to be done in this first row of the body. So to continue here, we need to place some stitch markers. Each one of the front panels, it's going to have 28 stitches. So from here up to here, there's 28 stitches, including the stitches here for the button band. Now, for each one of the sleeves, I'm going to leave 39 stitches, and for the back side, I'm going to leave 55 stitches. Now, after we finish the sleeves, under each sleeve, I'm going to be adding 3 extra stitches. 1 stitch is going to remain after we seam, and then we're going to pick up a stitch on either side. So here, to continue, this first row is going to be a pretty long one, so this is where we're going to start. So this would be row 1 of the body. Here, I'm just going to knit 5, past the stitch marker, and here I'm going to knit up to the stitch marker here. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There, I have 28 stitches here for the first front panel. Now, before I start the first row here for the sleeve, I'm going to make one right. I'm going to make an increase here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick up this bar that's between this first stitch for the sleeve and this last one. So make one right. So just put this stitch here on top of the needle and knit through the front. This is an increase here. There. Now I'm going to remove this stitch marker, and to continue, what I'm going to do is, for better comfort, I'm just going to use these shorter needles. These are straight needles to knit the sleeve in rows. These are 3mm knitting needles. You can continue with the circular needles if you want, but I'm just going to leave these here pending, and then I'll continue with the straight needles here. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to knit 39 of these stitches. This is going to be row 1. So this first stitch here, I'm going to knit and then just knit across. So that's 2, 3, 38, and 39. Remove that stitch marker. Now I have the first row here for the first sleeve. I have 39 stitches. Now we're going to turn here and just work with these 39 stitches. Now here I'm going to have two border stitches, the first stitch and the last stitch. So whenever you start a row, you're always going to slip the first stitch, and then this is the wrong side, so on the wrong side I am going to purl. So purl across up to the last stitch for this second row of the first sleeve. $38 and $39. There, I have 39 stitches where I purled across. Now we're going to turn for row 3. From now on, we're just going to repeat these 2 rows. You always slip the first stitch and then just knit across when you're on the right side. When you're on the wrong side, you're going to also slip the first stitch and then purl across to the last stitch. And this is how I'm going to continue. Here, I'm not going to do any shaping of the arm or anything. I'm just going to knit the sleeve straight without any shaping. If you want to do that, you can. That would be up to you. For baby clothes, I don't like to do much shaping because really, baby's so little. And I feel there's no need to do that. So, but that's my personal opinion. If you want to, you can. So here I'm just going to continue for the sleeve. I'm going to do a total of about 42 rows. Continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do. It all depends on the measurement that I get here with 42 rows, and then we're going to do the cuff. So continue like this, repeating these 2 rows. I'm almost done with the sleeve. I did a total of 42 rows, and it's measuring from right here where we started up to the last row. It's measuring about 15 centimeters, which is about 6 inches. Now for the cuff, this is what we're going to do here. I'm going to slip the first stitch and then I'm going to knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. I'm going to continue like this up to the last stitch. Just knit 1 and purl 1. The last stitch I'm going to purl. There, here's the first row for the cuff. Now we're going to turn here. For the second row, I'm going to slip the first stitch, and then I'm going to work these stitches how they are. This is a purl stitch, so I am going to purl. Next one is a knit stitch, so knit, purl, knit, purl all the way to the end of this second row. Here, the last stitch, I'm going to also purl. So here at the end, I have 2 purl stitches at the end. Now turn for row 3. For row 3, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slip the first stitch and then knit 1, purl 1. And this is how I'm going to continue for the cuff. Here, I think I'm going to do about 6-7 rows. I'm not sure. Continue watching. I will let you know how many rows I'm going to do. So continue, and I'll meet you at the end of that row. I finished the cuff. I did a total of 6 rows here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cast off our stitches. So this would be row 7. Now I'm going to slip the first stitch and then knit 1. Bring the first stitch over the second. Purl the next stitch, bring this first stitch over the second, and so on. You're going to knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches, always bringing the last stitch over the first, or the second over the first, like this. Continue, finish casting off your stitches, and then I'll come back and show you how we're going to seam the sleeve. I finished casting off my stitches, and now here at the end I have not cut my yarn. If you want to cut your yarn, make sure to leave a long tail, and you can come back and seam this sleeve here after. All you have to do after this is just attach the yarn here under the sleeve, but make sure to add an extra stitch. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to go ahead and seam the sleeve right now using a crochet hook. I'll be using this 3.5mm hook. So to do this here, we're going to turn our sleeve like this. From the wrong side, we're going to start and seam the sleeve. I'm going to go along the very edge right here where we were slipping the stitches as we began the rows. You can see that there's like a V stitch here along the very edge. That is where I'm going to be inserting my hook through both loops on both sides. So right here to begin, I'm going to go right here to the very top. This is the first stitch, and I'm going to now just grab this loop here and bring it through like this. Now I'm going to go back through the next row right here and through the next row right here. See right there, you can see the slip stitch right there. Grab a loop and make a slip stitch. Now make sure that these slip stitches are nice and loose. We want this to be nice and flexible. We don't want this to be too rigid, so make sure that you do that. You can also use a slightly bigger hook, maybe a 4mm if you have a tighter gauge. I'm just going to continue here, making sure that the rows correspond on either side. That way when we are done here at the bottom, we don't have extra stitches left. So carefully and with lots of patience, just go through both loops on this side along the very edge and both loops here along the other end and make a slip stitch. And this is how I'm going to seam the sleeves. You're going to do this for both sleeves once we make the second sleeve. So continue making slip stitches. I will meet you right here, right under the sleeve, to show you what we need to do next. I finished closing the sleeve. I have a total of 24 slip stitches here. I'm right here, right under the sleeve. Now we're going to turn this. Make sure not to lose this loop here. So we're going to turn our sleeve here to the right side, and here's the sleeve. It's all done. Now what we're going to do right here, right under the sleeve, is we're going to now continue here along the back side, but before we do that, I need to add an extra stitch. So this is what we're going to do. Let's see, let me make sure I have the correct side here. So here's the front panel that we did. We added an extra stitch here. So here I have a total of 29 stitches because I added an extra stitch under the sleeve here. So to continue here, what I'm going to do is this loop that was left when we closed the sleeve with the crochet hook, I'm just going to put it onto my needle like this. And that's going to add one extra stitch. Now before I continue with the stitches here for the back side, I'm going to add one more stitch, and there is no right or wrong way of doing this. All I'm going to do here is just go into this row of stitches, and I'm going to grab a loop here. So now right under the sleeve, I have added a total of 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now to continue Here along the back side, I'm just going to knit until I come to the next stitch marker. If you cut your yarn, make sure to attach the yarn right here and then add an extra stitch. That way you're going to have the same number of stitches at the end of this row. But I think that the way how we close the sleeve, even if you have not touched a crochet hook, I'm sure you'll be able to close it using the slip stitches to close the sleeve. So here I'm just going to knit across the back side. For the back side, I had a total of 55 stitches. Now continue. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to start the second sleeve. I knit the stitches for the back side. I had 55 stitches. Here's the stitch marker. Now, before we continue, I'm going to make one right here so that I add an extra stitch before I continue with the sleeve. So we're going to pick up this bar that's between this first stitch for the second sleeve and this last stitch for the back side. So pick up this bar, put it on top of the left needle, and knit through the front. This is a make one right there. Now I'm going to leave my main needles here just like I did with the first sleeve. I'm going to continue with these straight needles. They're the same size. So to continue here, I'm going to knit across these 39 stitches. This is going to be the first row for the second sleeve. From here on, it's exactly the same how we worked the first sleeve. You're going to do exactly the same thing. You're just going to knit across when you're on the right side, and you're going to purl across when you're on the wrong side, making sure to always slip the first stitch. That way we have a nice edge so that we can seam the sleeve once it's done. So here I'm just going to work this first row, and then you're going to continue on your own. It's done exactly in the same way. We're going to do a total of 42 rows and then 6 rows for the cuff of knit 1, purl 1. There. Remove that stitch marker, leave these needles, and continue with the back side. And continue with the second row, always making sure to slip the first stitch and then just purl across. Continue like this. Finish the second sleeve. You're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to do 42 rows here of 1 row knit, the next row purl, and then 6 rows for the cuff. On the 7th row, you're going to cast off your stitches and then seam the sleeve. I'm going to come back after I do this to show you what we need to do next. I finished making the second sleeve. I went ahead and seamed it and then just turned it here on the right side. I'm right here, right under the sleeve. I have put the loop that was left when we closed the sleeve on my knitting needle here. So now what I'm going to do before I continue and finish the second front panel is just pick up an extra stitch, and I'm just going to go right here into this side right here right before the first stitch and pick up an extra stitch there. So now I have these 3 extra stitches under the second sleeve as well. Now all I need to do is just continue and finish knitting the second front panel. Here for this front panel we had 28 stitches. And this completes this first row. In this first row we started here with the first front panel. We picked up an extra stitch, then we knit the first sleeve, we closed it up, and then we put the loop that was left from when we closed the sleeve into the needle, and then picked up an extra stitch. We knit the stitches for the back side. We added an extra stitch here right before we started the second sleeve. I finished the second sleeve, and then I put the loop that was left from when we closed the second sleeve onto my needles, picked up an extra stitch, and then just finished here the second front panel. Now at the end of this first row where we did all of this, I have a total of 117 stitches. Now for row 2, we're just going to turn here, and for row 2 we're just going to purl across, except for the stitches here for the button band. Remember that these stitches always remain the same. We knit 5, pass your stitch marker, and from here on up to the last 5 stitches, all we do is just purl. Continue like this for this second row. I will meet you at the end to show you what we need to do next. I finished the second row. I have a total of 117 stitches. The second row is being worked on the wrong side. Now we're going to turn here for row 3. All we need to do is the same thing. We're going to knit across when we're on the right side, and we're going to purl across when we're on the wrong side, except for the 5 stitches at the beginning and at the end where we always knit. So here, to start you off on the third row, all you have to do here is just knit across. Continue watching. I will let you know how many buttonholes I'm going to do after here. In total, I'm thinking for the body, I'll do about 46 rows. If it's more or less, I will let you know, but just continue watching. I will let you know how many rows I'm going to do, and then we're going to do the hem. I'm almost done with the body of the little sweater. I did a total of 44 rows. Now I'm about to start the hem, and in the third row of the hem, I'm going to add my 5th buttonhole. So let me tell you on which rows I added my buttonholes on. Remember that buttonholes are being added every 18th row. Count the rows here along the side of the front panels. There should be a total of 73 rows if you count the 5 rows for the neckline, the 24 rows for the yoke, and the 44 rows of the body that I just did. So that's a total of 73 rows so far. So for the first buttonhole was added on row 4 of the neckline. The second one was added on row 22. The third one was added on row 40. The fourth one was added on row 58. And the 5th buttonhole is going to be added on row 76, which is going to be the third row of the hem. So make sure that you're counting all of these rows from the very top up to this last row that I did. And you should have 73 rows so far. I'm about to start row 74, which is going to be row 1 of the hem. So here I'm going to knit these 5 stitches. And then I'm going to start with the hem. I'm going to do it exactly how I did it here. So here I'm going to begin with a knit stitch and then a purl stitch. So knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Now these stitches here for the button bands, I'm going to keep the same. I'm always going to knit, but the stitches in between, I'm going to knit 1, purl 1. So continue like this to the end. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to finish this row. I'm here at the end. I have the last 5 stitches. I'm going to pass my stitch marker, and here at the end, I'm going to knit 5. Like I said, these stitches here for the button bands at the beginning and at the end will remain the same. Now turn, knit 5 here, pass your stitch marker, and here, this stitch here was a knit stitch, so on this side I'm going to purl. So I'm going to purl 1, then knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. And that's how I'm going to continue for this row where I just knit 1 and purl 1 up to the last 5 stitches, where I'm going to knit 5. I'll meet you at the end. I finished the second row here of the hem. Row 2 was worked on the wrong side. Now in this third row of the hem, I'm going to make my last buttonhole. This would be row 76 if you're counting all the rows on the side here of the button band. So to do this, I'm going to knit 2, yarn over, then knit 2 together. I knit 2 together through the back, but you can do it through the front. Either way, it's the same. There, and now knit 1. Here is the 5th buttonhole. Now I'm going to continue with the hem here, so knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. And this is how you're going to continue for the rest of the rows. Here you're going to finish the third row, and it's the same thing we did in row 1. Knit 1, purl 1, and then the last 5 stitches you're going to knit, then turn for row 4, knit 5, and then continue with the pattern. Row 4 is the same as row 2, then you're going to turn for row 5, and then turn for row 6. So go ahead and finish making the hem. I'll meet you at the end of row 6 to show you how we're going to cast off our stitches. Okay, I finished making the hem. I did a total of 6 rows. For row 7, I'm going to cast off my stitches. If you count all the rows here along the side here of the button band, you should have a total of 79 rows. My last row is going to be row 80, which is going to be row 7 here of the hem, and all we're going to do here for this row is cast off our stitches and finish our little sweater. So to do this, this is what we're going to do. So here I'm just going to cast off my stitches now. So here I'm going to knit the first stitch, knit the next stitch, bring the first stitch that I knit over the second, and then again repeat the same thing. Knit the next stitch, bring this stitch over the second, knit the next, bring this stitch over, knit the next, remove the stitch marker, we don't need it anymore. And now I'm going to knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches, and always bring the first stitch on the needle over the second. And that's how I'm going to cast off my stitches. So continue, finish this last row, and then I'll come back and show you the finished baby sweater. I finished casting off my stitches. Now this part here is done. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a trim here around the front panels, the neckline, and down the second front panel. This is optional since I am going to do this with a crochet hook. As it is, the little sweater is all done. So to do this part, I'm going to start here right where I finished. Here at the end, I have my last loop from when I cast off the last stitch. I'm going to be using this 3mm crochet hook. You can also use a 3.5 if you have a tighter gauge. I'm going to use this hook here, and I'm going to make sure that these chains are nice and loose. Now, if you don't want to do this part here, then just go ahead and cut your yarn, pass your yarn through that last loop. But if you want to do it how I'm going to do it, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to chain 2, then I'm going to skip this row, and right here where you see this little bump right here in the next row, like skip 1 and into the next, here I'm going to make a slip stitch. Now chain 2 again, skip the next row. The rows that I'm skipping are the rows that you can see, like this one here, the one with the bump. So I'm going to skip this row and into the next, make a slip stitch, chain 2, skip this row and into the next. At the very end, insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Skip this row and into the next, a slip stitch. And this is how I'm going to continue all around, including the neckline. I'm going to try to end this side right here into this last stitch, and then I'm going to begin again, skip this and into this next row. You see this row of knit stitches? That's where I'm going to be inserting my hook right in the middle, and I'm going to continue all around. Just skip one row and into the next, a slip stitch. And then once I get here to this side, I'm going to try to make sure that my last stitch is right here along the very corner of the neckline and then continue my way down doing the same thing. And that's how I'm going to finish this part here. And as you can see, this is how it looks here on the right side, and on the wrong side it looks like this. This, again, it's optional. You don't have to do it. The little sweater is all done. So I'm going to go ahead and do this part, and then I'll come back and show you the finished little sweater. I finished this last row where I did 2 chains with slip stitches using a crochet hook. Here at the end, I just joined to the very end here, made a slip stitch, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through that last loop, and this little sweater is all done, and this is how it looks. Here's how the chains with slip stitches around the neckline. As you can see, I just went into this row here of knit stitches and did the slip stitch, and in between I have the 2 chains. So that's how it looks. Here's the finished little sweater. That's the bottom. Here's the back side. This is a nice pattern because it's almost seamless. We do have to seam the sleeves, but it's all done within the pattern. So there it is. Now I went ahead and added my buttons. I'm using 13mm size buttons. I added 5. So now let me give you the finished measurements. From the top of the neckline to the end of the sleeve, it's measuring about 27 centimeters, which is about 10.5 inches. From under the sleeve to the end of the sleeve, it's measuring about 14.5 centimeters, which is 5 7/8 of an inch. Now the total length from the top of the neckline to the end here, it's measuring about 28 centimeters, which is about 11 inches, and the chest measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 24 centimeters, which is about 9.5 inches. Now this measurement here right across, it's about 11.5 centimeters, which is about 4.5 inches. So based on these measurements, this little cardigan sweater is for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months old, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger. Down here in the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, I went ahead and did matching little pants, trousers, or leggings. I'll go ahead and upload this tutorial, or if you look in the information box, I'll go ahead and leave the link there if I have already uploaded this tutorial. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.